Well, I mean, look at the bright side. So we won't ever need to buy light bulbs again because we'll glow in the dark. Good evening. Great news, right? No, I just had to start out stupid. Anyway, I guess real quick like here, I'm gonna bring in video. I reckon I'll bring in this video here. And let me unmute it and let you take a look-see. They are just now pulling in to East Lincoln Motor Speedway, and they're in North Carolina. Stanley or Camp Stanley or something like that. It's called East Lincoln Motor Speedway, and they literally just pulled up. So, I mean, they weren't even, when I started the intro song, they weren't even there yet, so. That's pretty awesome. So, I don't know how big they are. I only started watching, I'm going to say, about an hour and a half ago. And I didn't have the audio up. I just put up a couple of different streams and was checking in on how they were doing. So I'm not really sure. I know, what was it? Yesterday, one of the live streamers took up a drone, and the place, to be honest, Hagerstown looked pretty bare. There didn't look to be a whole lot of trucks there or anything else. Now, could people have been somewhere else? I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm telling you right now, from what I've been seeing already, just pulling in since I put it up and talking to you, there's a hell of a lot more trucks than what there were that I saw at Hagerstown in that drone video. So they could have been somewhere else. They could have been doing something. Who knows? More trucks could have came and joined in. Who knows? But that's pretty cool. I don't know what the heck this is. Oh, it's a road truck. Okay. Those are the ones I like. The sleepers are built pretty much like a miniature camper. And they've got a bathroom, you know, you got a toilet and a tiny, tiny, tiny shower there. Fun times. But, it's, you know, it's a lot, you have a lot more comforts than what you would in a regular sleeper where you don't have any type of bathroom or shower or anything like that. Up there's Saznak. He's in the truck you're looking at now. The white one. That's also a road truck. I call them road trucks. I think they used to call them road trucks. I'm not sure, because from my understanding, those guys typically like to just pull loads from yard to yard. You know, so they pretty much, a lot of them only get, for the most part, interstate miles. And a lot of times they don't go into, well, they can't go into real tight places, so. I don't know that Saznak had all that hanging off the back of his truck before. He may have, but I don't recall seeing it. That's pretty cool. Believe me, if you're already tired of the honking, you have no idea. We have watched so many hours of videos between Canada and the United States. I'm surprised my mind doesn't just block it out. Might be a little hard to do, though. I mean, you gotta admit, that's pretty damn cool, though. That's probably Sasnak, that horn you just heard that sounded like a train. That one. That is so cool. Now, I looked at Google Maps. Here, let me show you this. Pull this up so I can see. Now I looked at Google Maps, and this here is that speedway, and this area here is all fenced in. Now I know that they've been told to stay off the track. Now let me turn that down. Sorry. I know they've been told to stay off the track. Because I guess they already got the track ready. I know Highland just got their track ready as well. So anyway, they're supposed to stay off the track. I don't know if they're going to let them into this fenced-in area here, because this appears to be all fenced in. Because man, I don't know if there'd be enough room just right here in this spot. There might be, but I don't know. I don't know where all they're going to be allowed to go. So. Anyway, I've got that one up, and then there's another stream that I've had going up here. Let me change audio.
So much love.
And so this is somebody that's back in the convoy. Oh, I hear you, Hexafruce, about them going to New York City and Georgia. Well, they're pretty hell-bent on getting to California and putting an end to those bills. And then who knows from there? I mean, I think it's the more and more... Hang on. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I like the idea of what they're doing. And the more and more I think it's definitely a move in the right direction. Because I think staying in Hagerstown and just doing laps around the Beltway and stuff like that, not that there's anything wrong with that, but, you know, if you could revitalize support from across the country, right, that's going to be... you know, all the better. And then, of course, when they come back to again, they're going to be reinvigorating people to get involved again. Who knows? You know, they might wind up, the weather would be a lot better. You know, I was thinking about that as well, because look at the cold and nasty weather they've had to endure there in Hagerstown. And, you know, by the time that they would get across the country, do what they're going to do in California, and then get back across the country, back to the D.C. area, it's going to be full-on springtime, you know, well into spring, and it's not going to be so cold. They're not going to be dealing with snow and all that other nonsense. So, I think it's a good idea. But yeah, that just gives you a peek into what it looks like in the convoy there. Let me go ahead and cut that and get those out of there. There we go. So anyway, I haven't been paying a lot of attention to the convoy today, other than, like I said, about the last hour and a half. I put up a couple of streams. But other than that, I do have several tabs open of different things I want to go over with you. And then we'll go from there. I actually have some from Sputnik because just out of the blue, I thought, you know what, I'm going to click on the app and see. And sure enough, there was several decent stories in Sputnik. So I thought, and pardon me, hang on. The first one off the bat here is actually on the Convoy. On the Convoy. Now, RT really hadn't been, reporting much on the Convoy. I don't know if Sputnik has, so I'm gonna try to remember to keep an eye on that and see if they do report on it more. Anyway. I'll go ahead and switch over to the web view here. Trucker convoy leaving Washington, D.C. en route to California after weeks of upping traffic hurdles. Says here, en route to the Golden State, participants of the People's Convoy are expected to take their cause to the U.S. West Coast as part of a larger effort to gain new supporters as the movement saw a variety of factors contribute to their dwindling numbers. I don't think that was the main reason they went. The so-called People's Convoy is leaving Washington, D.C. and heading to California without accomplishing much besides... Oh, that's going to be a hit piece. I didn't actually read it. Without accomplishing much besides adding slightly to the already congested traffic that plagues the capital region. Maybe someone should have told them D.C. drivers are used to sitting in traffic. Organizers said that the convoy will be moving to California to protest proposed vaccine bills. They hope that the move across the country will inspire more people to join the protest. Cold weather, a lack of funding, and infighting among leaders of the group. I'm not sure there was infighting in the leadership. No, early on, but everything's been smooth as far as I know between the co-organizers ever since the split from Freedom Fighter Nation and the pilot thing. Anyway, organizers said the convoy will be moving to California to protest proposed vaccine bills. They hope the move across the country won't... Oh, I already read that, sorry. Cold weather, lack of funding, and infighting among leaders of the group have been cited as some of the reasons why the group camping in Hagerstown has been dwindling over time. One of the de facto leaders, Brian Brazzi, left the camp last weekend, further hurting morale, and I would agree with that. The Speedway season also begins this Sunday, so organizers would have to find a new place to camp if they plan to remain in the region. By the time the convoy arrived in Washington, D.C. on March 6th, the vaccine mandate had already been lifted. The mask mandate was removed soon after. They did meet with some conservative lawmakers. Fully vaccinated Senator Ted Cruz took a ride in one of their trucks, but their stated goals of repealing the pandemic emergency declaration and investigation into the government's COVID-19 response were left unfulfilled. Well, they're not done yet. They're not done yet. Co-organizer Mike Landis said that they plan to come back to the nation's capital after they are done in California, but with dwindling numbers and COVID-19 restrictions being dropped in most of the country, that looks unlikely. I wouldn't say that. The protest was inspired by the Freedom Convoy that shut down downtown Ottawa for 3 weeks over regulations that required truckers to be vaccinated in order to cross the U.S.-Canada border. In contrast, the much smaller People's Convoy camped out in the small town of Hagerstown, Maryland, at the Hagerstown Speedway, and then drove an hour and a half daily in an attempt to create gridlock on the Capitol Beltway and occasionally inside D.C. itself. Now, I don't know if they really wanted to cause gridlock. Otherwise, they would have set up their convoy differently as far as how many lanes they used and all of that. No, and they stated it. They wanted, people to be able to get through and get to work and stuff like that. So I don't think, this was without a doubt a hit piece against the convoy. I didn't know which way it was going to go, but this was clearly a hit piece. Was it inaccurate? I think it was poorly reported. Pretty much everything they said was true, but some of it, for instance, was like out of order, which would make big differences. Like the the issues with leadership that happened real early on, and in the article, that's down the article a little ways. So it kind of seems like there's, well, at around the same time, it talks about Brian going and leaving the convoy for a little bit. Which it did hurt morale. There's no doubt about that. You can't argue that. But there, as far as I know, was no infighting or anything like that going on. There wasn't anything like that. So as far as I know, everything had been kind of smooth between leadership. So putting that there makes it seem like the infighting has been more recent and possibly related, and that's not true. So anyway, let me continue on. That's the only one I've got about the convoy. North Korea may be preparing for possible future nuclear missile tests, a U.S. official claims. It says here, last week, North Korea launched its 12th missile since the start of the year, later confirming it was the Hwasong-17 intercontinental ballistic missile. According to the Japanese Defense Ministry, the missile has a range enough to reach the whole U.S. on a typical trajectory. Says North Korea may be preparing for nuclear testing as U.S. spy satellites have spotted new tunnels being excavated in the nation at a place where such tests have been performed in the past, Fox News reported on Thursday, citing unknown U.S. defense officials. According to the report, the drilling implies that another nuclear test might be conducted. Intelligence analysts reportedly spotted excavating equipment active in Kilju, Hamgyong province, I'm sure I said that wrong, at a location where nuclear weapons test was most recently conducted in September 2017. After last Thursday launch of what was confirmed by Pyongyang to be an ICBM Hwasong-17, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un vowed to develop a stronger weapon. The missile's size reportedly showed that it was designed to carry many nuclear warheads, many nuclear warheads, not just one. North Korea already possesses missiles capable of carrying a single warhead and reaching much of the U.S. from across the Pacific Ocean. However, regarding last week's tests, the South Korean Defense Ministry said that North Korea likely launched the Hwasong-15 intercontinental ballistic missile and not the brand new Hwasong-17 as claimed by Pyongyang. The military also pointed out that the shadows in North Korea's footage indicate that it was shot in the morning in clear weather, whereas the fact it was shot in the afternoon. Additionally, the weather conditions at the time of the missile launch were cloudy. The Defense Ministry also stated that conducting a successful missile test after the failed one 8 days prior would be challenging. In total, DPRK has conducted 6 nuclear weapons tests over the years. So, kind of interesting. Hadn't done one since 2017, and now that old Potato Joe's in charge, boom. China to restrict visas for U.S. officials, so things still aren't getting any better between U.S. and China. Says China has decided to restrict visas for a number of U.S. officials in response to similar measures introduced by Washington earlier this month over alleged human rights abuses. The Chinese side decided to impose retaliatory visa restrictions on certain U.S. officials who spread lies on the issue of human rights, imposed sanctions against China, and harmed China's interests, stated Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin on Thursday. I love that name. Wang Wenbin. Come on down. You're the next. Oh. Wang said the move was made to protect the sovereignty, security, and development interest of the PRC. Well, with a name like Wang, how could you go wrong? The spokesperson claims that the U.S. used what he called the false pretext of human rights issues to interfere in the internal affairs of China, discredit Beijing, and put pressure on Chinese officials. Wang stated that such actions are a serious violation of the basic principles of international law and international relations. So, U.S., keep your hands out there, Wang. U.S. exempts critical Russian commodity from sanctions. How do you like that? So Washington has eased sanctions on Russian agriculture products, including fertilizers placed on Moscow over the crisis in Ukraine. The move aims to protect U.S. farmers from a shortage of chemical products as food prices in the country continue to soar. Okay? The Office of Foreign Assets Control of the U.S. Treasury recently published a new general license dated March 24th, which effectively removed restrictions on the import of Russian fertilizers. Okay? I'm going to have to find something to chuck at a scruffing dog. Will you chill, Blue? Gosh, it's all pissy. I don't know why. I guess because I'm doing the show. Don't make me stop this car. Because, let's see, it says the document authorized transactions relating to the exportation and re-exportation of agricultural commodities, I'll get it out maybe, banned last month by Washington's Russian Harmful Foreign Activities Sanction Regulations. That's a mouthful. So, get this. They are going... Oh, well... Okay, yeah, I guess they're going to be lifting their sanctions on their fertilizer so we can buy it, right? Because otherwise it's really going to hurt our economy if they don't lift the sanctions on the fertilizers that we buy so much of from them. Okay? Follow me here. I'm going somewhere with this. And then we impose more sanctions on them. The U.S. Department of Treasury has added 13 individuals and 21 new companies to its list of specially designated nationals to be sanctioned under the Office of Foreign Assets Control, according to a notice posted to its website on Thursday. The agency has also removed 2 companies from the list. The new companies have been added for allegedly falling under the umbrella of Russian Federation's aerospace, electronics, and maritime sectors. And individuals involved in those sectors have been subject to sanctions since last April, and the latest round allows for sanctions to be placed on any individual or entity determined to operate or have operated in any of those sectors. Okay? So, lift the sanctions on the fertilizers so we can buy it. And if I'm not mistaken, they did the same thing on the oil. Okay? They did the same thing on the oil. Now, then they put more sanctions on Russia. At what point is Russia going to say, well, then we're just not going to export any more goods to you? And then where are we? Right? There are so many nations playing with fire right now. You've got the United States doing this, right? And clearly, we have to import fertilizer from them to be able to put in all our crops, right? So what happens if Russia turns that nozzle off and we get no fertilizer? And then, to top that off, we're buying oil from Russia, and starting, I guess, tomorrow, that oil is going to have to be paid for in rubles. So are we going to start doing that or nay? What about all the countries in Europe and stuff that are getting energy from Russia? Especially the ones saying, hell no, we're not paying in rubles. I'm telling you, this is going to get sticky. This is going to get sticky. Because if things keep escalating on an economic level with these sanctions, there's a lot of people in a lot of countries that's going to massively suffer. And you better bet your ass that means world war. So I do think that is what we're looking at. I'm just keeping it real. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I really, really don't like it. This has been the slowest escalating SHTF imaginable. Has it not? We've already been, few years with COVID. Now we got what looks to be massive conflict, famine, you name it. Anyway, this also came out. Russia presents new evidence on Ukraine biolabs and comments on links to Biden and the U.S. Says the Russian military has presented documents showing Ukraine's interest in using drones to deliver weaponized pathogens developed in U.S.-funded biolabs. Names of U.S. officials involved in the biolabs projects and the role the current U.S. president's son played in the program were also made public during the special briefing on Thursday. One of the key pieces of evidence was a letter from the Ukrainian company Motorsik to the Turkish drone manufacturer Baykar Makina, makers of the Bayraktar, something like that, TB2, and Akinci UAVs, dated December 15, 2021. The Ukrainians specifically asked if the drones could carry 20 liters of aerosolized payload to a range of 300 kilometers, putting them in range of a dozen major Russian cities and almost all of Belarus. We are talking about the development by the Kiev regime of technical means of delivery and use of biological weapons, with the possibility of their use against the Russian Federation, said Lieutenant General Igor Krylov, commander of the Russian Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical Protection Forces. So, probably important to kind of pay attention to that kind of stuff. That's crazy that they got Hunter on that too. The U.S. tells Americans in Russia and Ukraine to leave immediately. Now, Ukraine, they've been doing that for some time now. But this, as far as telling them to get out of Russia itself, if I'm not mistaken, is new. That's crazy. But it says they're kind of putting it off kind of on something else, but I think it's because of the escalations. It says all Americans currently in Russia and Ukraine should leave right away, as they may be singled out by Russian security officials on account of their citizenship, the State Department said on Thursday. All U.S. citizens in Russia and Ukraine should depart immediately, State Department spokesman Ned Price announced at the daily press briefing at Foggy Bottom. Price said the U.S. travel advisories have been updated to reflect reports that Russian security officials have singled out and detained U.S. citizens both in Ukraine and in Russia itself. In addition, Price claimed that the U.S. has seen Russian President Vladimir Putin denigrate equality, free speech, and human rights for all. So, crazy. Poland turning into NATO's front line, becoming dangerous for Europe itself, says Medvedev. This here says, on Saturday, Russian Ambassador to Poland Sergei Andreev suggested Russia might be forced to temporarily close its embassy in Warsaw, leading to a similar step by Poland after Warsaw announced it was expelling 45 Russian diplomats suspected of spying. Poland's actions are turning the country into NATO's front line, said Russian Security Council Deputy Chairman Dmitry Medvedev. The presence of U.S. troops on its territory has been growing rapidly since August 2020, and the stance currently adopted by Polish authorities is much more dangerous for pan-European security than the mythical Russian threat that Warsaw constantly talks about. Authorities in Poland are also maliciously promoting a false version of their country's history of relations with Russia, depicting the latter as a hostile country, Medvedev wrote in his article for the Sputnik Polska. Poland hopes that its role in Europe might be significantly boosted at the expense of Kiev and vehemently declares its support for the latter, but the country's authorities are in a difficult situation, costs of settling Ukrainian refugees, and in Poland, their numbers already approaching 2 million, are covered by the U.S., and Polish authorities are in no rush to invest their own funds, emphasized Dmitry Medvedev. So, yeah, the U.S. have paid for it, right? Didn't hear anybody cheer and offer. Just crickets. U.S. stocks plummet 500-plus points as Biden announces hefty oil reserves release. It here says, on Thursday, the White House announced that it would begin the daily release of some 1 million barrels of oil, totaling around 182 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve over the next 6 months. The move comes as the largest release of its kind in U.S. history. Preliminary data shows the U.S. stocks closed up the first quarter on Thursday with its largest quarterly decline in 2 years. As the conflict in Ukraine persists and the Federal Reserve responds to inflation, the S&P 500 observed a loss of 1.57% to 4,530.41, while the NASDAQ composite fell 1.54%. I'm not going to read all of it. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted 535.8 points, or 1.52%. Losses deepened during the final hour of trading on Thursday, which marked the last day of trading for March as well as the first quarter. So, I'm sure the market's probably going to get real crazy. And then this is the last one I have for you brought up. Existing contracts on Russian gas will be frozen if they aren't paid in rubles. So, as it says here, last week, the Russian president ordered the central bank and government to work out the means for countries designated as unfriendly by Moscow to pay for Russian gas in rubles. The G7 objected to the move and vowed not to pay. However, Berlin, one of the biggest buyers of Russian gas, has since asked how such transactions may take place. Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed a decree regulating gas trade with designated unfriendly states, saying that countries wishing to do business with Moscow must open bank accounts in Russian banks, and stressing that existing contracts will be frozen unless payments are made in rubles. Putin stressed that Russia would continue to meet its obligations to supply gas at volumes and at prices set under existing contracts. However, the need to pay in the Russian currency is not up for negotiation, according to the president. Putin announced on 23rd of March that Russia would require countries which have introduced sanctions against Russia to pay for their natural gas purchases in rubles. The Russian central bank, the government, and Gazprom were given 1 week to amend existing contracts into rubles. So, that goes into the details of that. So, where that's going to lead, I have no idea. That, in and of itself, just that alone, could get very volatile very quick. Like I said, we won't ever need to buy light bulbs again. We'll just glow. Everything aglow. It'll be awesome. No more lights. Always be able to see in the dark. Well, I guess I'll do headlines and close the week up and get the hell out of here because, I'll tell you what, it has been a screwed up few years. And it's hard to believe that we're watching everything, sometimes seemingly ever so slowly, disintegrate before our eyes. It's kind of surreal. It really is. Okay, let me have a couple sips. Fun times. Tastes good. That's why I keep vaping it. Strawberry milk. Strawberry milk and coffee. Well, strawberry milk vape and coffee go together very well. It's like, Sorry. Not really, but until they have like smell-o-vision or something, you're just SOL. Alright. U.S. announces new Iran sanctions. African leaders disclose position on Ukraine. U.S. accuses China of choking Taiwan. Russia offers swift alternative for dollarless trade with India, says report. World must work with the Taliban, says Moscow. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to work with the Taliban. Spy chief loses job over Ukraine, says media. Gazprom offices searched in Germany, says media. Kiev sends new arms wish list to the U.S., says media. Media says a lot, apparently. Anti-Russia sanctions may weaken the U.S. dollar, says the IMF. You think? NATO bases in Central Asia unacceptable, Moscow says. Slovenian embassy forced to hide its flag in Kiev. I like making you turn your T-shirt on inside out or something. I didn't do it. Oh, what about it? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's no problem. Do you, Leol, do you vape? I've got typically like 3 recipes that I make that I vape, and I'll be more than happy to give you the recipes. And if you've never made your own, I'll be more than happy to assist you in doing so. Real quick, do you vape like the new stuff, the Salt Nick with the pods? That's like 50 milligram stuff. Because if so, then I don't have a recipe for you, to be honest. But if you vape the old school stuff, that's like, I don't know, say 3 Nick or 6 Nick or something like that. Normal juice. Okay, sweet. That's what they're for. Then the biggest thing is you have to get nicotine. Because that might be a little hard to get now, but you can always get the flavorings and stuff like that, the vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, all that you can get. That's not a problem. It's just the nicotine base that you have to get. And you can get it. It's just not as cheap as it was, and you know, you got to have it shipped to you. You got to sign for it and all that good stuff, because you know, government sucks. But yeah, I'll be more than happy to help you with that. So, I don't know. I don't know if you have like Facebook or anything. I'll tell you what. Email the Watchman News at yahoo.com. If you've got a Facebook or something, put your profile link in there. It'd be real easy for me to do it that way. So, to give you the information you need and all that. So, if you do. So, just email, like I say, the Watchman News at yahoo.com. And, oh, no, don't worry about it. You're not interrupting nothing. Like, since when have I been professional? So, yeah, just email me, the Watchman News at yahoo.com, and email me with your like Facebook profile link or whatever, and I'll send you a friend request, and then that way I can easily give you links or whatever. Plus, like I say, you know, if you need to learn how to do it, it'd be easier for me to help out. So anyway, let me continue on with headlines. So yeah, I'm wondering if hiding their flag is like making you turn your t-shirt inside out because it's offensive. High school runner brutally sucker punches rival during race. I mean, this is insane. People are out their damn minds. Check this out. Just wham. It just runs up right behind him, just pops him right in the head. For like no reason. There's like no reason for that. Insane. So, but there's been all kinds of crazy violence going on across the country. I mean, it's just gotten stupid. Russia lifts ban on parallel imports. Wow. As long as they don't lift them on the perpendicular imports, because if they do that, I'll be upset. Major Asian economy allows Russian investment. China to restrict visas for U.S. officials. U.S. exempts critical Russian commodity from sanctions. Actually, I think I read that one. Oh, yeah, sports one I didn't mean to share. Let's see. Moscow's new gas payment scheme explained. UK slaps new sanctions on Russian media, including RT. Putin sets ruble for gas payment deadline. The Ukraine aid bill that's actually a license to kill and defraud. Kremlin responds to claims Putin was misled by own military. Kremlin weighs in on conditions for Putin-Zelensky meeting. Moscow responds to claims of mines in the Black Sea. A lot of articles really today. Countries will need to create ruble reserves to buy Russian gas. Moscow comments on Caucasian republics' intention to join Russia. Both Russia and Ukraine want Italy as guarantor in peace deal, says PM. Ukraine reveals how badly its defense industry is destroyed. I don't know if I'm repeating any or not. I have no idea. Germany and France react to Russia's gas for ruble demand. And that's another thing to explain how the payments are going. Or how they work. Sanctions can't stop Russian gold trade, researcher tells RT. Azerbaijan planning large-scale attack, Armenia claims. And I don't know if that's true or not, but if so, that's crazy. That's flaring up again. Biden administration to issue gender-neutral passports. And I know you're all really happy to hear that. You know, I mean, because that was an important thing to get done before World War III, you know. Britain sends more lethal weapons to Ukraine. Covered that one. That one. I covered that one. A lot of these I think I covered. Russia sanctions EU leadership. UN reacts to Britain's censorship. Covered that. And that. And that. And that. U.S. thanks Russia for returning astronaut to Earth. Yeah, that was mighty nice of them. Giving them a ride home. Kind of, you can always hitch a ride from the International Space Station to Earth, but sometimes it takes a little while for somebody to come by. Just float around for a while. Yeah, the Watchman News at yahoo.com. No. Just like our name, but without the spaces at yahoo.com. No, there's two N's. I don't know why you're looking there. Here. There we go. Alrighty, let's see. Yeah, U.S. to unleash strategic oil reserves to lower prices, because that's always a real good idea, potato. Poland asks for billions in EU funding for Ukrainian refugees. Of course they would. I mean, why not? I mean, give me $1 billion, because I got to put up with listening to it, or, well, reading it anyway. You guys got to listen to it. You should sue too. Why not? Pakistan PM names foreign power that wants him toppled. Tell him you identify as another world leader and you need reparations. Yeah, that's what we'll do. EU state bans V and Z. I mean, look at that stuff, right? That's Latvia, I think it is. Latvia bans V and C. So if Latvia can ban V and C, then come on, man. I'm telling you, it is ate up. It is absolutely crazy what's going on in the world. It really is. It's bizarre. Bizarre. But I really don't expect it to get any better, unfortunately. Just got to keep at it. Anyway, I'm not going to keep at it. I'm going to get the heck off of here and start our weekend. And, be back on Sunday. And hopefully do it all again. Well, maybe hopefully with better news or not even worse news or whatever. So, I don't know. It's just messed up. A lot of messed up stuff. I can't emphasize enough for folks to just keep getting ready. Keep getting ready. Have that heightened sense of, I don't know. A lot of crazy stuff and a lot of things can come unglued in a real short amount of time. So, anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you all coming. God willing, we'll be back Sunday. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.